Can anybody? Okay. Assalamu alaikum and good morning to everyone. As Saifsa mentioned, my name is Syed Yunus. I work as a project manager in Dell. Uh, so I'm an expert in a topic that I'm not so proud of. And once I finish my presentation, you can relate your life circumstances to my life circumstances and understand what the issue is, and if there's any comic left uh, in these circumstances, you'd also enjoy that. So before I start, um, can I get a idea of the audience that we have? Students, working professionals. You can just unmute and just say what you do. A student, a working professional, and then we can go along.
Yeah, my name is Syed Yusuf. I'm an IT professional.
Okay, great.
Hi, Ifzallah here. I'm a IT professional as well.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Hassan. I'm also an IT professional.
Okay. I got an idea. Any students in the Zoom? Okay, no problem. We'll go along. We'll keep this session short. As I have a call to join after this presentation. So to start off, I want to take you back to your school times, or at least my school times. You know, when we used to get assigned with our homework, and next day you have to get your homework back. That is how the drill was, right? So every day you come home, you plan your homework this way. That I'll start a little, start working on my homework little. अगर 2 पेज का होमवर्क है तो मैं स्टार्ट करूंगा, 2-3 लाइंस लिखूंगा, फिर थोड़ी देर के बाद थोड़ा लिखूंगा, फिर थोड़ी देर के बाद थोड़ा. The same thing went on throughout the school, uh, the entire schooling, and perhaps the college as well. कि शुरू में थोड़ा काम करना है, फिर उसके आगे थोड़ा, फिर उसके आगे थोड़ा, डिपेंडिंग ऑन हाउ द टास्क गॉट असाइंड. अगर एक दिन का काम है तो थोड़े घंटे में बांट लिया, and if the task is a huge one, you divide it, for an entire week. uh, at least that is how we saw our assignments. But almost every time you usually end up like this. The first few hours we tend to procrastinate, and then we put that initial 2 hours of work, the last hour, we hope that थोड़ा extra काम कर लूंगा, extra मेहनत कर लूंगा तो मेरा काम हो जाएगा. So that is how the plan was. But almost every time you come to the last minute and you see yourself standing looking at the unable to perform that task within that 1 hour. 4-5 घंटे का काम था तो आपको 1 घंटे में खत्म करना है. Almost every time, this is the scenario, that the circumstances that I lived throughout my schooling and my college, and I used to find myself in this spot. Now, how many of you have experienced that कि बहुत दिनों का काम हमने लास्ट मिनट में किया, या फिर tomorrow is the due date and we stayed up whole night and we did everything, and it turned out to be the best one than the rest of us who actually planned it better and did it, you know uh, by spreading it across the days. किसी का ऐसा हुआ है? नो नीड टू आंसर, जस्ट रिलेट. मेरे साथ ऐसा हमेशा होता है कि मैं आई स्टार्ट एवरीथिंग डूइंग एट द लास्ट मिनट, and it turns out to be the best of the best than the rest of us who do uh, more planned, more organized way. And you can also know that it's a blatant lie, कि ऐसा कभी नहीं होता. You may be lucky once or twice, but that only leaves for a short period of time. When the other people bring and submit their assignments, you get to know your reality. अब हम आगे समझेंगे like why does it happen, ऐसा हमेशा हमारे साथ क्यों होता है, and what are the reasons, and are you suffering from any debilitating disease that you are not aware of? So let's learn that in today's presentation. Before we go ahead, I just wanted to enlighten everyone with this quote: okay, a day can really slip by when you're deliberately avoiding what you're supposed to do. कि पूरा दिन निकल जाता है और हम just couldn't start. So let's understand our brain. and what happens inside our brain a little in detail so that we have an idea. तो पता चलता है कि there are two type of people. One who avoid doing a task when they're supposed to do for no good reason. There is no valid reason why, in my schooling days I procrastinated for my homework. The same went on with the college and then with the graduation and the post graduation. And who is a procrastinator? So ये तो आदत पता चल गई कि procrastination क्या है, and who uh, does a lot of procrastination. What is that? What do you call that person? Is a procrastinator, someone who habitually puts off things. Excuse me. So ये दोनों का तो पता चल गया. Let's take a brain scan of both of us. You know, a procrastinator and a proven non-procrastinator, कि इनके दोनों के दिमाग कैसे हैं. तो एक जो बंदा है टिम अर्बन, ही इज द वन responsible of like putting out this idea in a TED talk. I happened to cross the TEDx uh, TED talk, and it helped me a lot, to know my behavior and why am I procrastinating, and in what ways do I procrastinate, and why I'm being helpless to come out of this situation. तो उसके लिए ना ये टीम अर्बन took brain scan of both the people. One first the procrastinator, the other one is a non-procrastinator, and what goes inside their head. So the first brain scan of a non-procrastinator, कि उसका दिमाग के अंदर जो है, imagine that this is my brain scan, okay, and inside of that brain, I am standing with the control of my wheel. For example, if I was a non-procrastinator, you see that I'm a rational decision maker who is controlling the wheel. Or if you take a scan of a procrastinator, जो हमेशा चीजों को टालता है, who does everything, who wants to do everything later, so what is inside his brain? So दोनों का दिमाग एक जैसा है, both of brains are similar, but the issue here is, along with the rational decision maker, rational decision maker is a person who you know uh, does things rationally. तो उसके साथ instant gratification monkey होता है. And if you want to learn about both of these guys, a rational decision maker is a person who does things as per the need of the hour. अगर अभी पढ़ाई करना है, so the rational decision maker pushes the brain wheel and control towards studying. And if it's enjoyment that looks more sensible, the rational decision maker does it. And whatever is better for our future, the rational decision maker tries to push us towards that side. Now, when it comes to instant gratification monkey, he doesn't care about the future. He does not, he isn't aware of the past. He does not remember the learnings that we had through our failures and other stuff. So every time in every situation, all he wants to do is enjoyment, you know, have fun. So usually, for a procrastinator, someone like me, how does it end up? For example, आपके सामने assignment आया या office का project आया, or else you have anything, updating your timesheet every week, or updating your goals, having discussion with your manager, uh, updating the customer before the customer comes and asks you, कि ये सारे situations में rational decision maker wants to do the what is right thing. If everyone is going for a break, if everyone is going for a movie enjoyment party, like the rational decision maker wants you to stop from that and wants you to do what is need of the hour. So almost every situation for a person like me, it ends up like this. I have a time and day in my mind. I want to start working on it. Suddenly, this instant gratification monkey comes and says no. And how does it turns out? Okay, it's just not like that. Like simply this instant gratification monkey came into your mind and put a thought that no, we'll not do it now. We'll do something else. He just says that we'll do what you're planning to do, but not now. 5 minutes later, or probably a coffee break later, a tea break later, or else a walk later. You know, these are the simple ideas that he puts in our mind, and he stops us doing from what we had planned to do. So the control slowly goes like this. Before starting, let's take a small 5 minutes break. And if you're not going out for a coffee or a tea or a walk, and if you are someone who just wants to check out his phone, you probably should start like this. Like Twitter X platform. You go there, you want to see the tweets. So after that, your brain says like Twitter to ho gaya, let's check out Facebook, and the slowly and steadily your control and everything goes from one app to other app. Just give me a second, guys. So your control goes from one app uh, to other app, and then TikTok, and then Instagram. And at the probably after a few minutes, you realize that you have already passed an hour. And these are some of the examples that the instant gratification monkey gives us. We do not take out of consideration. There are many things that the monkey can take us along. uh, it will depend person to person. You would know better if you are a procrastinator like me, what are the things that stop doing uh, stop doing it on time. So where you wasted your time. So slowly and steadily, the day passes by, and we forgot we had thought to start something. So this is the situation, and this is the helpless procrastinator whose control is taken over by instant gratification monkey. The day passes by, you no longer feel in control, and you're almost at the end of the day. You're looking back at, reflecting back at the entire day, and you're helpless to know that, the entire day just went on to entertainment, having fun. Like I said, uh, this monkey just wants to do easy and fun stuff. The all the instant gratification monkeys in our head, they have no plans for the future. They have no ambitions, uh, no goals, nothing. And all the past experiences that we have from school, college, uh, our higher studies, and then our office, all these experiences that we have lived, and we have felt miserable when we procrastinated, when we were not able to achieve the task before the deadline, or if we were able to achieve the task in the deadline, that was not uh, up to the mark. It was very superficial, uh, and not to the standards that we are capable of, and almost every time we had to settle for less. uh, how uh, that is the scenario of this monkey. And what about the rational decision maker? So this guy wants to do what is rational. You understand what rational means, that he wants to do what makes more sense. He lives in a civilized society. He knows that he's a human and lives in a society where you have to have a way of living, have to be successful, uh, have to be well off in terms of education, in terms of skill set, how you placing yourself in the society. In all aspects, he wants to do what is rational, and even if that is not pleasing task, he wants to do it. So when both of these come together, uh, sometimes there's an overlap. For example, a weekend vacation with your family. If you have worked really hard, uh, and you get some perks, like a well deserved party or something or anything, during those times, both of them come into agreement. So there are no consequences of uh, giving your control to instant gratification monkey, enjoying the weekend, enjoying your vacation, enjoying your meals with friends. That overlap is fine. But for a procrastinator, uh, you don't always stay in that overlap where both the instant gratification monkey and the rational decision maker are in consensus. What happens is that almost every time, the time that we spend, goes in control of instant gratification monkey. And when we do a lot of stuff, we spend a lot of time in this dark playground. where we play. Uh, when we are not supposed to, we have fun, when we are not supposed to. Uh, so it comes at a cost. It's not like I'm just going to recall all the experiences that I had, and if relatable, you can also know what are those awful feelings and awful situations that we had gone through. Um, all of that comes only when you spend more time in this dark playground. Dark playground is a time um, when you are having fun when you're not supposed to have fun. So these are some of the outcomes of spending too much time in control of instant gratification monkey. uh, is not upskilling ourselves, or no, not keeping ourselves up to the industry standards is career disaster. Ultimately, not spending enough time in equipping yourself with the current skills. Other is dreadfulness, anxiety. These are all the feelings that I have gone through or probably going through in my career and as well as in my education. Um Understanding them and knowing them would keep you better off, at least uh, in one way or another. Uh, Instead of just not being aware of it and just living through this awful, dreadful feelings the entire life. Shame, unhappiness, self-hatred, guilt, ultimately all of this causing to high level of stress, and you can realize that it puts off your life in no time. So these are just some of the examples that a procrastinator goes through his life after procrastination. So looks like for a procrastinator, a person like me, is his life always going to be like this? Is there a ray of hope or a guardian angel looking above the sky? Is there something or someone who can help my rational decision maker to finally get control of his life and do the difficult and hard things, even if they are not enjoyable, not fun enough, or or something that doesn't please us? So how do I get my instant gratification monkey in control and to perform hard things which are good in the long term? So looks like there is definitely a guardian angel and a ray of hope, and that is called the panic monster. All of you can relate. uh, how come that we were unable to start our homework or start our assignments a week before the deadline, and suddenly the night before the deadline we don't know from where we get that energy without drinking any energy drinks or anything. We get that energy and suddenly we start uh, completing our assignments within a few hours, before the deadline. Why is that reason? Is because our brain is shaken up and an entire body is shaken up by panic monster. And usually the panic monster comes when, if you miss the deadline, there are repercussions. uh, if you miss the deadline, your a lot of things are on stake. So those are the times when this panic monster comes. So when this panic monster comes, he's the only guy this monkey terrified of. As soon as the panic monster comes, monkey wants to live, monkey wants to escape, he does not want to own any responsibility. So first, as soon as the panic monster comes to your head, your brain is in panic, is in mayhem. Suddenly the entire body, the entire system of yours is in mayhem. And suddenly every time there are consequences, there's some disaster that is going to happen. uh, the monkey is the first one to escape. You see. And finally the rational decision maker has control of life. So I want to take a pause and to reflect that this is almost always the scenario for a procrastinator right through his entire life. We don't just we don't just procrastinate, excuse me, on our homework assignments and office work. There's a lot of things in life that we procrastinate, and we continue to procrastinate despite having lived that awful experiences that we had. because of always delaying things till the last minute, and having done things which are mediocre, not up to the mark, haven't put us anywhere ahead of ourselves, of almost always living those experiences. What about, uh, just wanted to keep you aware that the guardian angel and the ray of hope that a procrastinator has is the panic monster. That is the guy who puts us uh, into high gears in the last minute and helps us to at least complete the task, at least attain the deadline, and finish what we are supposed to do. Even if it was mediocre, we at least finished it. But what about those things which do not come with a deadline? Uh, for example, goals that you don't have to submit to your manager, some personal goals that are not looked upon by anyone except ourselves, our personal ambitions, our health, anything that has to do which doesn't have a deadline, or something which is not looked upon by someone else. We are good when our manager keeps asking us, or a customer keeps asking us, no matter how much amount of time we procrastinate, we know that ultimately we have to complete it. But what about the goals where there's no deadline or nobody's asking, nobody's watching you over? So in those situations, we don't get panic monster. Uh, so when this writer, or this the speaker of the TED, Tim Urban, put out this presentation, he also had a blog post. He started getting queries from lots and lots of PhD students. Um, they have some leeway when it comes to deadline, and he had lots of inquiries from the people who have spent a quite considerable amount of time of their life, and now it's extremely difficult for them to go back and start. And the reason I'm bringing this up is all the consequences and the awful feelings that a procrastinator goes through, which we just discussed, which ultimately leads to high stress, career disaster, shame, unhappiness, dreadfulness, anxiety, always unhappy about yourself, you don't like yourself. All these things stay for long term. uh, that is something we cannot hide ourselves from or shy away from. When we don't have a deadline and we are just procrastinating on stuff over and over again, uh, these are the ultimate feelings that we'll have to live through the rest of our life. And trust me, that is not the place that we should be putting ourselves. And uh, after knowing that, I just want to leave you here. I'll try to give you some of the tips that I put it to my life and have to continue to put it throughout. Giving you this presentation acts as a reminder and a wake up call to myself as well, uh, that your brain usually forgets things. You have to keep learning and reminding yourself over and over again of the shortcomings that you have, so that you place yourself in the society in a better way. Some of the reasons why we procrastinate, you can relate this uh, for your entire schooling as well as your adulthood. One is not knowing where to start. You are shy of asking others, or uh, even procrastinating in asking others for help. Always know that asking someone for help at the right time is the key to win over. Asking it very late does not put you into a good position, and even people doubt on your ability, uh, and your confidence levels go down. So always know where to start. If you don't know where to start, be the first, recognize it early and ask for help. Second is lack of clarity. क्या करना है नहीं मालूम. uh, you don't know the topic, or you don't know how it's done. Dreading the displeasure of doing the task. A lot of us procrastinate because we don't enjoy doing what is ahead of us. Has been the scenario and will continue to be, because trust me, difficult and hard things which are good for long term are not always, always does not give the pleasure always. So it's, you have to do it even if it displeasing your brain. The other thing is fear of failure. This is just a thought that has put into our heads from a very young age. वैसे करके भी क्या करना है, नंबर वन होके भी क्या करना है. uh, so that has stayed with us. We don't want to achieve for the number one. We want to settle for something in between. So that is the reason. That is one reason that we procrastinate and want to start things at the last minute. So these are some of the reasons. But after this session, if we can go back and reflect to our lives and reflect to the circumstances if we have lived through, and know that what are the reasons that I procrastinate, just being aware of it will help you, your brain, to know how can I, overcome this. So with this presentation, that after learning a procrastinator, I want to let you know that, like, realization is not enough. Knowing that there's an instant gratification monkey in your head and a rational decision maker in your head, just knowing that you are a procrastinator won't help you to overcome that situation. After knowing, you will have to go back to drawing boards to understand how can you stop yourself from over procrastinating. Some procrastinating is good. I'll get to that in a second. uh, what I'm trying to say is over procrastinating till the last minute when you have deadlines, or procrastinating forever when you have no deadlines. Here are some of the tips that we can help. Make the task underwhelming. Seek help while you can. If you're there are a lot of tasks that we have which हमें डरा देते हैं वो. uh, we are seeing that other people in our team, other my school friends are able to achieve that. They're able to complete the project, complete the assignments, uh, everything they are able to do. Why I'm not able to do? If you're procrastinated and you have failed a few times, that just keeps adding up to your underwhelmingness. So you will have to seek help while you can. Start early and break the task into small parts. uh, and know that let's take a 5 minutes break before starting the task will not help. कल आपने खो दिया 5 मिनट ब्रेक लेने के चक्कर में, so the same thing will repeat today. If tomorrow is not when you're going to submit the assignment, it will continue till the last day, and probably last night is what you have. So every day, instead of starting the task and your monkey coming and saying let's take a 5 minutes break, tell him that let's do this task and take a 5 minutes break. you know um, Break to lenge. Apply the same tactic that he uses on you, that oh yes, we will start working today, but let's take a 5 minutes break. Say that let's take a first hour for doing this task, and let's take probably 15 minutes break. And be wary of the addiction of the smartphone. Trust me guys, it has been working very well, really well, on even the smartest brains. No matter how smart uh, you think you are, but the engineering team behind the smartphones knows how to have your eyes glued to the screen. We will have to be careful that once we go onto the smartphone, it's difficult to come back. And roadblocks are not the end. Remember, in our schools, if there's one subject we hate the most, it's just because that we are unable to get past. In our preparation, we want to shut the book and just leave. देखे जो होगा वो देखा जाएगा एग्जाम के दिन. So that habit has stayed. A lot of things that we are unable to help ourselves, we are unable to upskill. I'm saying this with my experience. Is because of the roadblocks. uh, One or the other way, you just want to avoid it, you just don't want to get stuck. So the last thing is do it now. uh, Realization is not enough. You will have to go back, understand your behavior patterns, and whatever works for you. There's a lot of uh, tips and sessions online on time management, and one cause which is procrastination, how to overcome it, how to better manage yourself. Whatever helps you the best, work on it, take care of yourself, and ensure that there are no long-term causes which can put you in a bad situation. Um, with that, some of the good benefits of good time management is we can accomplish more in less time, which will give us more free time, which we can use in new learning opportunities. And when it comes to confidence levels, we are better off when we have managed ourselves better. No, that is what gives confidence in career, in education, everywhere. One method on uh, which I just mentioned, that going back to the drawing board, is knowing everything that we do. हम कैसे हमारा दिन वेस्ट होता है, बर्बाद होता है हमारा वक्त, वी हैव टू बी अवेयर ऑफ इट. आइडेंट एनालाइज कौन सा हमारे वक्त में कौन सा ऐसी चीजें हैं जो सबसे ज्यादा टाइम वेस्टर्स हैं. It can be it can be different to all of us. A person, it can depend on person to person, but most common thing is phone uh, and social media and listening to the stuff we don't have to. And then finally, change, prioritize, declutter and schedule. जो काम कम करने के हैं, और understand that, declutter yourself, and then schedule what time, what you want to do when. This is all of this. It may seem difficult to a procrastinator because his mind is totally in control of the instant gratification monkey. Almost every time he wants to start something, but as soon as those moments when you get in control of yourself, um, immediately, make stuff easy for yourself. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, or don't see that as a big mountain to cross over with the time left that you have left. Whatever time you get the night before the deadline, or a few days before the deadline, whatever the time you get in control of, try to prioritize stuff, try to declutter your brain, try to schedule things, and have good feelings about the future. Don't stay in that awful feelings that we just discussed, which leads to stress. I want to leave a quote from Dr. Muhammad Allama Iqbal, a reminder for you and myself. People who have no hold over their process of thinking are likely to be ruined by liberty of thought. If thought is immature, liberty of your thought becomes a method of converting men into animals. We will have to have some control over our head, so that we are just not leave it to the instant gratification monkey. So I mentioned about over procrastinating, saying that some procrastination is good. There has been a recent study that people who always start on time and finish their assignments ahead of schedule usually achieve what they are supposed to, but that is not remarkable or innovative or something that can excite our mind. So he suggested that if you have a week's time to complete your deadline, at least give first day not doing anything, so that your brain is free to think what are the creative ways of doing this. For example, you have an assignment at your office, a project as task, something to simplify work through Excel or through automation or anything. um, don't jump onto guns and immediately start achieving that task. Try to leave your mind free for at least some hours, based on the time that you have for achieving that task, to um, explore and see what ways that can achieve this in a better way than just conventional ways of doing it. So that is one good procrastination. Deliberately procrastinating, or what I'm trying to say. Doing that for other stuff, which is just have to be in the conventional way, procrastinating on it will just put you into troubles. So when are we going to reflect back, and when are we going to this? It's today, or uh, today, which is similar to tomorrow. With that, I'll stop my presentation. So we are we are good. 40 minutes past from the time we started.
Thanks a lot, Yunus bhai. So, do we have any questions from the audience? You can unmute yourself and ask any question.
Assalamu alaikum. So due to this, I'm a procrastinator too. What I just felt is because of just adding on multiple things with respect to office, with respect to some other stuff, so a lot of things get added onto your plate, and it will be very hard to declutter those things and prioritize which has to be done. And end of the day, you'll again feel the same thing, that you have nothing accomplished. So
Yeah.
the third point was there, where you had mentioned about decluttering, prioritizing, and all that stuff. So if you could provide some insights on that and how we can resolve this issue.
Oh, sure. So I am a project manager. What usually happens is, last minute lot of assignments come and you have to work with multiple engineers and everything. So decluttering is first, you don't know what to do now. Suddenly, there's so many things in front of you. You don't know what to do. So first is get rid of the things that you don't have to focus on right now, so that your brain feels less stressful of it. And then prioritize. कौन सा कब पहले करना है, किससे पहले बात करना है, किससे बात करने से काम हो सकता है. And then proceed on scheduling it. Okay, what time of the day that you can, what time of the hours that you have. Usually we're not left with days, when you're a procrastinator, we have few hours left. So that is one way I have practiced to put myself in less stress. But the first point which you mentioned, uh, a lot of times, Yusuf bhai, I can say with my experience is that when you put too much task on your plate, the last minute you have to complete your office stuff, you have to complete your personal stuff. This is a very awful place to be in for a procrastinator. uh, st- ये जो step है, prioritize, declutter, schedule, has to apply for everything, not just one thing in the last minute. The reason you bring this back in the last minute is that so that the hours that you have left with, you utilize it better. ऐसा नहीं कि स्ट्रेस में, घबराहट में वो भी आप टाइम खो दो, uh, and you just fail in what you have. When I say that you achieve the deadline, doesn't mean that you always achieve the deadline. You fail in many deadlines miserably. Some of the deadlines that you are able to achieve is also mediocre. So if you put too many things in the last plate and you only have few hours to achieve one or two, you will achieve one or two, and the rest will go down the line. You will have to look for another deadline for that.
Thank you, Nisbah. And one more point that was there in the tip: make the task underwhelming. Underwhelming. What do you mean by that?
Whelming means you are afraid of something. Uh, you understood, like, what I'm trying to say is whelming. You are overwhelmed. Make it underwhelming in the sense, you're not so afraid of doing that. आपको समझिए, आप ऑफिस में
Okay.
काम कर रहे हैं, आपको एक नया टास्क असाइन हुआ है that you haven't done it before, and that has high visibility or something, and immediately when you start hearing those things, a lot of visibility hai, this is a high complex level of task. If you do this good, you can, it can, put you ahead in your career, something like that. Immediately when you start hearing those things, or start hearing saying others say वो बहुत difficult है, मैंने try किया, मेरे से नहीं हुआ वो काम. uh, so during these times is when you start getting overwhelmed of the task that you have in front of you. It happens a lot of time. तो उसको अंडरवेलमिंग करने के लिए आपको क्या करना है, कि सबसे पहले हु हैज डन इट, सीक हेल्प. इफ योर मैनेजर हैज डन द टास्क, ही हैज डन इट इन दिस पास्ट, सीक हेल्प. सबको मालूम है कि जो भी काम आपको देते हैं, अगर आप वो फर्स्ट टाइम कर रहे हैं, दैट यू विल डेफिनेटली नीड हेल्प. एंड द अर्ली यू आस्क हेल्प, that will that will help you to make it underwhelming. And also, in the eyes of your hierarchy, your manager and above them, it puts you in a better place when you're planned, and you're trying to achieve that task in a sophisticated and a planned manner.
Hello.
Yes, Sahad
Hello.
bhai.
One question. I had just asked one our counselor, Miss Najma Madam. Could you ask whether she is online or not? Najma, Miss Najma.
You
Okay.
have no.
Sir, I want to submit one thing because what we have experienced in the office in podcasting, if I consider myself as a patient of podcasting,
Mhm.
please, let us. So, in teamwork, what I have seen, these podcasters are the best performers.
Uh-huh.
They are having problem. I too had problems to start with. And one more thing is overthinking.
Yes, overthinking.
Overthinking has become a deficiency. It is not a, it's not a strength. It has become a deficiency. This overthinking made to perform less or to start with. It is a big hurdle to start with. So few days, what I consider when I transfer some other department where I don't know have any knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
I have taken help. I used to call some employee to sit with.
Okay.
Then we started working because overthinking had literally killed me for at least 1 year. When I
Yeah.
became the podcaster also, then what I thought is ये क्या है कैसा है ये सत्खाती हो ये करो नमाज पढ़ो सब चीजें हो रही है
Uh,
but practically no one is there to push us and there are no
correct.
periodic meetings or something like that. There we are given target and we have to complete it. See, this thing podcasting has become a disease. Let us consider it as disease. What I seen in another department in examination, I had named one guy as Dan Ghafoor. अरे इसको कुछ भी दो यार ये अवॉइड करता है ये लेता ही नहीं करता ही नहीं लेटर ऑन वी हैड फॉर्म्ड ए टीम उसको मजबूरन हमको लेना ही पड़ा
हाँ.
इन वन पिवोटल सिचुएशन ही हैड फेस्ड विद गुड इनपुट्स जब वो करने लगा वहां से अभी भी कुछ भी कहते हैं तो बिल्कुल इमीडिएटली घबरा जाता है ट्राई टू अवॉइड इट और ये
Correct.
दूसरा नेटवर्क टीम में भी एक तो एग्जाम टीम्स में वो रहा एक नेटवर्क टीम में भी है आप बॉल डालते नहीं वो छक्का मार देता सीधे लेता ही नहीं उसको देना मुश्किल है वी आर नॉट एबल टू कैच हिम एंड गिव हिम समथिंग
Understood. So,
So
जैसा आप
one thing is overthinking.
हाँ.
Overthinking has become a deficiency. And podcasting has made it a permanent disease. Do we need a counselor or medication if it has become for years? अरे कोई पाँच साल I'm having 20 years of experience in my department in our organization. Since 20 years, I'm watching people. I too have suffered when I was transferred to other departments. But how to overcome? Can we have a practical sessions for this one?
We can definitely explore the options, Sahid sir. I'm not a very expert. See, imagine me as a colleague who's sitting next to you, going through the same problems. And I looked on to online. Like I came online, I looked on to what ways that I can help myself, and I'm trying to. Uh, like you said, overthinking. It is an consequence of seeing a task and being overwhelmed of it. कैसे
Yes, sir.
करना कब करना क्यों करना ये जो टास्क का डर होता है ना दिस causes us to overthink if I go and ask others what will they think of me I am like 7 years of experience in my office so all these things we tend to procrastinate asking help for the last minute always puts us into a not so pleasant situation
No, sir,
so others
one
will
thumb
think
rule. I need a
yeah
one thumb rule. Means for overthinkers, we are have ripples of ideas.
yeah
और सब we are mastermind now. अंडरवर्ल्ड भी बन जाते हैं हम वहां के कि मैं जो करता हूँ कोई नहीं कर सकता बट द थिंग इज गिव मी थंब रूल व्हाट टू डू immediately go for help anything for so that this podcasting has, it can help out because you can help out of this podcasting give me a thumb rule
see I'll
मैं लिख
share
के
my
लगा
screen
दूंगा अपने बोर्ड पे कोई भी टास्क आएगा आई हैव टू डू दिस फर्स्ट
Okay, I'll share my
because
screen. I have only
okay sir
3-4 minutes. मुझे
okay sir
एक ऑफिस का प्रोजेक्ट का कॉल है मैं उस पर जंप करना है
okay sir
see what you mentioned same thing comes under some tips कि
Hmm,
immediately you don't know you're procrastinating immediately आपको
hmm,
immediately नहीं पता चलेगा a day will pass probably few hours will pass
hmm,
uh, But if you are a habitual procrastinator, you know that if my manager assigns me something, I will do it in the last minute only. So if that is a scenario, start preparing immediately. As soon as something is assigned by your manager, know what he's asking, what is the uh, uh, end product, what is he wants at the end. So have the target in mind and start breaking that into small pieces. Like, how can I achieve that? Asking
Thank
your
you, brother
friends,
Yunus.
starting, yeah.
There is another question from brother Hizullah. So, brother Hizullah, can you go ahead and ask your last question, please? We have to wrap up the session as the brother Yunus has to leave.
Yeah. Two questions, real quick. One, does multitasking also result in procrastination? And second, at least in my case, for most of the times, end up procrastinating for the tasks which are more to do on a documentation or a slide preparation and things like that. So how do I get better in that? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, first point you said you
Does
multitask.
multitasking, yeah, does it result in procrastination?
Uh,
Basically, delay in completing the work. Does it happen so if we are
yeah,
multitasking?
it runs you out of time if you are not giving enough time to the task which what it requires, and you are working on something else. If you are doing something that you're not supposed to do, that falls into procrastination. But if you're doing something that you are supposed to do, it will help you to achieve the other task, but the other task will not be complete.
Mhm.
Yeah, other thing which you mentioned,
And the second one,
yeah, I got your question. When it comes to documentation, when it comes to making presentation, anything that is displeasure to our instant gratification monkey, he will not allow your rational decision maker to be control of your mind. So आपको
right?
आपका आपके काम को जो है you will have to make it क्या बोलते हैं उसको pleasureful, like उसमें आपको enjoy करना पड़ेगा, or else you will have to force your instant gratification monkey not to disturb you at this moment. अगर आप कहे कि 5 मिनट ब्रेक लेते हैं प्रेजेंटेशन बनाने से पहले, कहो कि प्रेजेंटेशन के बाद 15 मिनट का ब्रेक लेंगे.
So how was your move from okay?
Yeah,
How
my
was your
personal
move
experience.
from non-project management to project management?
Oh, that's a long question, my friend. Yeah,
No,
I'll have
on
to.
terms of this topic, on terms of this topic as such, I'm
Uh,
assuming even you would have had that unpleasant experience, right, of preparing documentation and all of that as a project manager, program manager.
um, so not a good
If it's going to
experience.
be time consuming, we can move it.
Yeah, not. I'll just
Okay.
answer quickly in second sentence. Like, not a good experience. You fail. You learn with your failures. Bad feedback from your manager. Bad feedback from your colleagues. In some cases, and in some cases, you enjoy with your customers' satisfaction. uh, you do it you do it good, your customer is satisfied, he sends out an email to your manager. That experience helps you to go above and beyond. The other experience is feedback. Okay, Saif Saab, I'll need to jump. Will stop here.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
And Jazakumullah khair,
Thank you.
Yunus bhai. It was
Thanks
great.
everyone.
Understood.
Thanks. Assalamu alaikum.